Hi guys, so today I'm going to be going over everything in Piggy, it's a review. So I'm going to be going over what the characters were like, what the story was like, and the animation, because there is a bit of animation. So first of all, I'll be going with book 1. Hold up. Yeah, by the way, shout out to Annex for these videos. I know it says I do not require credit, but yeah. So the story starts. You're a police officer and looking for someone called Georgie Piggy. And then you get attacked by an infected. You go outside to look and see who it was. No, see there is keys, and then you get chased by Piggy, and then you get out. And for some reason we Piggy does not follow us outside. The door is literally open. Anyways, the player talks about how it looks familiar, but he goes back to the station to report it. While there, he finds out everyone's infected, and he needs to get to the garage with Doggy. They leave with another pig in there. Doggy says, "Hey, do you have any gas on you?" And then the player says, "No." But then the player gets gas, and then they escape, and then then they start talking about Doggy's lucky on how he or she showed up on the day off. And then the player says, "You're lucky that I brought gas, Doggy." And then Doggy says touche, underscore username. And then he says, "Man, we seriously need to find out what's going on. I know, I've started to see these things everywhere, all over the place. We need to find out what caused all this." And then they find out that the gas isn't that much in that tank. The only thing you need to know for chapter 3 is that they have a bro moment, and that's it. I'm gonna skip to chapter 4.
This unlimited.
Anyways, the forest. The player and Doggy go to sleep with an unexpected guest, Willow and Pony. They infect Doggy and the player. He doesn't know yet, but he's a mutant. So yeah, the player goes out and escapes. And then sees a walkie-talkie, and it says, "Hello, is anyone out there?" Now, just bear in mind that we are about to see the protagonist. The antagonist. How do you say? I don't know. But anyways, chapter 5, school. Mr. P sees his name is Mr. P, and he needs to investigate from the school. And then the player decides, sure, why not? Then the player meets Bunny, and then they escape. Then the player sees he doesn't feel too well. Then they get taken to the hospital, which is our next chapter. But then the player sees hallucination of Doggy. So yeah. Chapter 6, hospital. The player wakes up. Bunny says they need to get to the roof. They get to the roof and see Mr. P left them. Chapter 7, Meryl. Bunny gets infected. And the player leaves without her, which is our first saddest point in the Piggy storyline. Chapter 8, Carnival. The player arrives at Mr. P's carnival, expecting Mr. P to be there. Then he sees, "I'm coming for you." "Mr. P, I'm here. Who are you?" the player says. Then he meets Sizzy and Pony. They talk about Mr. P for a minute, and then and then Foxy comes in, and then Pony attacks them. Anyways, chapter 9. They arrive at the safe place. They get in. They talk about their lives for a second and like see what they're like what happened like during their lives, which I like because like character development. But then they see someone behind the dumpster. Sizzy and Player go check it out. Chapter 10, the mall. The two went to the mall to find the person. The player sees a mall. Why would they hide here? Show yourself. We know you've been watching us. And then it turns out to be Georgie. They talk for a bit, like say stuff. They go back to the safe place to see Pony, Zizzy, Z and Zuzi, Rafi and Mimi. And then Pony sees they track down a helicopter signal. Zizzy, Pony and the player decide to go. But they see Georgie has to stay. Then Zuzi sees, it's actually Susie, G just got back, and then she says, I'll come back soon, I promise. Take care of Georgie while we're gone. Then the player says, let's go stop him for once and for all. Anyways, they arrive at the outpost, and then they see like a giant military base. Then they say, I guess we're going in then. So, this is where Mr. P is, the player says. Then Georgie comes down. He says, Pony says, the sisters supposed to be watching you, and then he says, I convinced them to play a game of hide and seek. Why did you follow us, Georgie? Says the player. I want to see the person who hurt my family. Well, you've attracted quite the crowd, says Pony. The player and Georgie just go in, while Sizzy and Pony hold it off. Pony tells Sizzy he likes her. Anyways, a bonus chapter. Georgie wakes up from a scary nightmare. And then he asks Penny if she's awake. And they realize Penny isn't there. He decides to go look for her in the destroyed house. He gets outside to see Penny. Then he says, is something wrong with you? Are you okay, Big Sis? Then Penny walks off into the night. Then Georgie turns infected. They wake up in the mall. It was actually a nightmare. Anyways, chapter 12, Plant. Mr. P says, I wish you memory stop tormenting me. You are just as stubborn as I was when I tried to save my wife. But this time I will stop you as I should have stopped myself. So the player and Georgie look for stuff to make him snap out of it, and they do. They give him a picture of his wife. Then Mr. P says, it's all coming back to me, I'm sorry. He says he left the hospital with researchers when I found you were infected. Then he said, no matter what they changed, never going to protect me from my mistakes. Then Georgie comes in and says, finally, you know we're real. Now tell me, what did you do to my family? Ready to kill Mr. P, basically. And then Mr. P says, they wanted to help me. You took them away from me. You hurt them, says Georgie. And then Georgie says, now I'm going to hurt you. Then the player says, Georgie, don't do it. If you hurt him, you know better than him. He'll only turn you into what you hated most of him. Then Georgie says, I guess you're right. You need to leave now. It's not safe here. Then Mr. P decides to fight the infected until he drops. It's time I try to redeem myself. And then the player says, good luck. Then Georgie says, let's meet up with Sizzy and Pony. And then he says, are you coming, player? And then Mr. P tells the player his story and stuff. Which, that's the true ending. I'm not going to spoil that, but the animation. So first off, we have Piggy. Doesn't really tell much of the story except she's Georgie's sister. Now we have the player. The player is technically the protagonist. He's like the person who who's best friends with Doggy. Coming up next is Doggy, who's about a dog and gets infected in chapter 4. He sees. Then what happened is there isn't really much to do. So he's like a dog. Next we have Pony. Pony is like the player's new best friend, I think, and his love interest is Sissy, and his dad was an optometrist, and he killed Doggy. Well, that happens in book 2. I'll be doing another video on book 2. But anyways, that's Pony. But that's Pony for you. Next we have Bunny. Bunny shows up in the school. So yeah. And now we have Mr. P, the person who started the infection. So basically, yeah. He has his wife who got infected. Basically, he's like the sort of villain of book 1. He isn't really a bad guy. He's just a broken bad guy. So basically, yeah, that's Mr. P. And I'm not gonna get into all the infected because they're like secondary characters. Now we have Georgie, who we don't really have much story to except like he's sort of infected. And that like his family went to like test out the cure. Now we have the Safe Place members. We don't really know much about them yet, except they're like more giraffes and zebras. But we will probably learn more about them in the future. Anyways, now on to so I gave the story and characters. The story gets a 8 out of 10 because like it isn't really that strong. Like of course like it has so many plot twists, just that not that much happens in it. So now we have the animation. There isn't really much animation except for walking in this and like sitting down and so I'm giving the animation like maybe like a 3 out of 10. So that's Piggy for you. So like now we can think about the story and stuff and how far the story has gone. So the player. Well, basically, we don't know much about any of the characters yet, but we do in book 2, which I'll be doing a review on soon. So yeah, I'd possibly give book 1 okay, so the story was 8 out of 10, was it? Yeah. Then the characters were. Oh yeah, I did not rate the characters. I give characters 5 out of 10 for story. So 8 out of 5 is 13. Then the animation is 3 out of 10, which is 16. So this is probably a 16 out of 10. But I do out of all my ratings. What? I'll just rate the entire thing like 10 out of 10 or like No, we'll keep it at 16. Because I don't really think that was like a fitting number for this. No, we'll just keep like it as like 8 out of 10. So anyways guys, hope you guys all enjoyed this video on Piggy. I'll be doing book 2 soon. See you later.